The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.
All right, I think we got it. Let me share my screen. There we go. Well, good evening. My name is Craig Blanchette, and it's my privilege to actually host this Habits of Health call tonight. This call is happens every Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern, and it's really created for all of our the health coaches, health professionals. It's also available for many of our clients utilize this as a means to continue their health journey. If you're watching this live and you want to be able to have access to these later, you can actually go to YouTube and search for Optavia Habits of Health. And by the way, many of you are saying hello to me. So hello, Bobby and Tracy and Abby and Sandy, Siebert, Miriam. Thank you for the kind words and the encouragement. I'm really excited about our the topic tonight. The topic tonight is actually called Changing Lanes on the Highway to Optimal Health. And when I think about this particular topic and what inspired me to actually talk about this, I was in a mentoring call with everybody on our plan has a coach. I have a coach. All of you have coaches. All of the coaches have coaches. It's the way we do it. And one of the things that I find having a coach with this program is kind of a unique thing because we can have a sports coach. I've had wrestling coaches. I've had, cycling coaches. I've had different types of coaches, but I've never had a health coach. And so I had to figure out how to utilize a coach. And as a coach, I've had to figure out how to coach someone, right? So it's this give and take thing. So we all have, our model has mentorship where every client has a coach and every coach is also a client, which means every coach has a coach too. And so I was in a three-way mentoring call with one of my mentors. Her name is Terry, and one of my clients, her name is Christina. And we were just talking about the journey towards optimal health, the journey that Christina was on. And there was times when Christina wasn't maybe moving as fast. And what Terry said was a real simple concept. She said, we set the course. So the coach sets the course and you determine the pace. Another way to think about that is the coach controls the steering wheel and you control the gas pedal. So just a couple ways of thinking about kind of this whole thing and how things work. We're going to get right into it though. We're going to talk about a few things here as that are going to be necessary, things that you need to get to where you want to go. And by the way, if you're still working towards getting to your healthy weight destination, you may have been there and left, or you might be working on something besides your weight. There's a lot of these principles will make, I think, will apply to you. First of all, you have to figure out what your destination is. And I want to really focus on the fact that we have to decide where we're going first. We can't just know where we're at. That's important. But we have to know where we're going. Imagine if you got in your car and you said, I'm going to go somewhere. Well, you're in your car, in your driveway. But if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to know you're getting closer? So I recommend that we all start with the destination. And then we move over to taking a good look at where we're at now. If you think about it, if you decide your destination, and I know I use Disneyland a lot because that just makes sense as a happy place, a place where people go to a destination. Let's just say Disneyland is your destination. So you figured out that you want to go to Disneyland. Well, now you have to come back to where you are. If you live in Portland, Oregon, it's going to be a different path than if you live in Texas or maybe even New Jersey for that matter. Different path to get there. So both are necessary. Where you're going and where you're at now. And then what you do is the GPS in the graphic there is a representation of the coach. The coach is gonna help you figure out where you want to go and help you determine clearly where you're at now. And then the coach will help you to chart a course to get you from here to there. Now, one of the things that we don't determine as coaches, we don't determine the pace at which you go. So the speedometer is really up to you. All right. So you think about that. You got your coach, you got your destination, you got your starting point, and then you got the speed at which you want to travel. Now, there are some benefits from going at different paces. So we set the course, you set the pace. I kind of covered all that. I have a road analogy that makes sense because most people have traveled on a highway and in a car and they've gotten to a destination. So if you think about this, let's just say the left lane. The left lane, let's just say that is the optimal weight 5-in-1 plan that Optavia has designed. There are some benefits to the Optavia 5-in-1 plan. First of all, it's got predictable results. It's the most predictable plan, actually. It's got the most science behind it. It's just been really, really explored so that it's got the most predictability. One of the things with being in the left lane and staying on the optimal weight 5-in-1 plan is that you're going to get to your destination the quickest. I think about that. I would rather think about the Disneyland analogy. If you have a 5-day vacation and you live in New Jersey, it might take you 2.5 days to get there and 2.5 days to get home, which means you don't spend any time at Disneyland, right? So you're probably going to need a faster form of transit in order to have time at your destination. Maybe you take an airplane. And so think about that. It's you spend the most time at the destination because you get there the fastest, and then you can practice on staying. Actually, you practice on staying rather than getting. And so you're going to focus on, once you get to Disneyland or once you get to your destination, you're going to spend your energy on staying there, right? Living at that destination versus spending a lot of energy just on getting there. So that's the fast lane, the fast way to get there. And I think that that's really valuable as you're on your journey to just think about that. How to use a coach. The coach sets the pace or course, you set the pace. Another thing we think about is ownership. And we're thinking about whose role it is to do what. We want to make sure that we do our part as coaches, and we want to make sure that you do your part, right? So you're the one that is going to have the value and the benefit of reaching your health goals. You get to live inside this body. And so you've got to do the heavy lifting and you've got to do the work, and you're the one that gets the payoff. You're the one that gets the bonus and the experience of being there. So we think about the benefits of the left lane. We talk about that. Now let's talk a little bit about maybe the right lane. You guys have probably been in the right lane before. It's usually it's slower than lane 1, I think. I think it's you're still moving. Clearly you could get to your destination in lane 2. If you think about being in lane 1, you're in the fast lane, you're on the 5-in-1 lane, and you see an off-ramp. Maybe that off-ramp is called potluck, or maybe that off ramp is called Christmas. Maybe that off ramp is the holidays or a birthday party, or you name it. Come bunch of different things. If you're really focused on in the left lane, you might be able to just cruise right by those really easily. Now, if you're in the right lane, it's a little bit easier to take a detour, right? So you can think about that whole, you can get sidetracked, kind of get off track a little easier. One of the things to think about, though, for some of us, it is necessary. Some of your medical conditions won't allow you to be on the 5-in-1 because things just aren't set up that way. Some people who decide they want to exercise, again, the right lane is slower. So if you decide to have heavy amounts of exercise while you're trying to be in fat burn and lose weight, your progress will be slower. And so that's just something to consider. So we've got the two lanes, the fast lane, the direct lane. We've got the 5-in-1. We've got the right lane, which could be any program besides the 5-in-1. The 4-in-2 could be the 3-in-3, could be, who knows what it is, something different, right? Now we got the concept of the shoulder. And so if you think about, what's the shoulder analogy? Well, I think when you're not on track or on plan, when something's broken, you pull over to the shoulder, right? And so your progress does stop. You usually use the shoulder when something's not going right, when something's broken or something's not going right. Sometimes it requires assistance. Usually, like let's say your battery's dead. Well, you're going to call somebody to come help you, and you're going to pull over onto the shoulder. Maybe, you got a flat tire. And so there's different things that'll happen in your life that could cause you to get off the highway and get over onto the shoulder. One of the things to be sure is if you've made a determination that you still want to get to your destination, well, the reality of that is you're going to have to be in lane 1 or lane 2 because the shoulder doesn't move. And so in order to get back on track and start to move, you're probably going to require some assistance, and that assistance is from your coach. So I want to take a minute here, and there's a lot of conversation going on in the chat window, and so I'm trying to stay focused on what I'm saying here, so I haven't been able to read a lot of it. But what I'd like you to do right now is, if you are, we've got almost 500 people on right now, which is pretty exciting. And so what I'd like you to say is, when was the last time you connected with your personal health coach? Could have been a week, could have been 2 weeks, maybe it's a month. Today, look at that, Monday, great job. Yep, yesterday, 5 minutes ago, way to go. 15 minutes, perfect. So a lot of these things are today, which is tremendous for you guys. Some people may say 6 months ago, I don't know, maybe you're not even on this call if you don't regularly connect to your coach. Think about that. You might have slipped over into the ditch and you're just not moving. You're stuck. You're stuck in the mud. So think about that. Every Friday, look at that. All right, Marianne, this past Monday, today in a meeting, perfect. I bug mine daily. They love me. Perfect. I love it. 8 months in, Kelly, and still connect weekly. That's great. That's perfect. So the reality is that I heard of one of my favorite coaches. She said the 5-in-1 helped me get to my goal. And that's true, right? She said, helping other people by becoming a coach has kept me there. So anyway, that's some pretty amazing realities when you think about it. Coaching improves your long-term longevity. So we think about that a little bit. We think about these different lanes. We think about the different things that we're trying to focus on here and what's going to get us to our goal. So I want to be really clear, though. on the whole concept, this is speaking to coaches and clients both, because there's a intermix there as you work together. And one of the things that I want to talk about is we help you discover the things that you want, the reasons why, the destination you want. Most people want to lose weight, but that's not really gaining something. You can focus on what do you want to add? Where do you want to go? What do you want to experience? And then where you're at. So we get that set up in the beginning. But sometimes I'll call my clients and they'll say, I went off program this week. And the reality is okay, I'm not here to judge the speed at which you get there, but there are some pitfalls from going off plan a lot. Just like I said, if you get in the shoulder or you get off plan, sometimes it's hard to get back on. Have you guys had that? Maybe you guys can chat, if you've gotten off plan and tried to get back on, it's a lot harder than just staying on it the first time, right? Hey, Susan, good to see you. It's much harder. So I always recommend that people be really clear. Kim, one of the coaches that's part of our coaching team, this was so powerful. She said she lost like 120 pounds or something. It's with PCOS. She's just a super, super awesome lady. And I was talking to her about this whole conversation, and Kim says, when I was losing my weight, or when I'm focused on what I want, it doesn't matter what comes along. It doesn't matter what party's there. It doesn't matter if my favorite whatever is in front of me. When I am really clear on what I want, it doesn't matter. I can go to any event. I don't have to avoid anything, because she's so clear on what she wants, and she's experiencing the safety of the left lane, right? Just really clear, really focused. And so I thought that was really powerful, because sometimes we get out there and we struggle with stuff and we're not sure. We'll see how it goes. And that's usually a sign that you're not really clear on what you want. It's not really front and center in your mind. So think about that as you're going, which lane you choose. It's up to you, but there are some benefits and some downsides depending on which lane you pick. Some people, your pace is so slow that you keep getting distracted because you're not making enough progress. I know when I was a kid and we were driving to Disneyland, it was like a 20-hour drive. We lived in Oregon, and so we moved, that was a long way down to Southern California. And for a young kid, it seemed like an eternity. It just seemed like forever. But one thing to be sure of is I could see we were making progress. Now, if we were going 5 miles an hour, I probably would have lost interest, but we were traveling whatever speed we were traveling, and we were moving along fast enough. So I knew we were making progress. And so think about the plan you're on. And there is some really, really powerful reasons why you want to stay on the 5 and 1, because it gets you there in a very efficient, fast way. So we're going to talk a little bit about some action steps. I like to have some action steps on our call here. And so let's see here. I think we do have some questions. You guys I'll answer some questions too at the end here. I turned on the Q&A. And so if you guys go into the Q&A thing, I can take some of your questions here. But here is the Habits of Health Call action step. So you want to connect with your coach, your GPS, right? You want to remind them of your destination and what lane is going to be best to get you there, right? So you want to remind them of your destination and what lane you want to take. And so here's a little thing you can say in a text message. Coaches love to hear from you, by the way. As a coach, my goal is to help someone get what they want. And when people, when my clients say, hey, I just wanted to remind you about my goals, I'm just like, the first person they reminded was themselves, actually. And so if you think about that, when I get a client, so check in, I say, hi, coach. I'm checking in to be accountable on my journey, reminding us both of my goal to, and what is that goal? What is that thing you're working to, right? And I want to make sure I'm on track. And so you can basically get out the GPS and you can look about it and say, where am I doing? Are the things that I'm doing going to actually be getting me where I want? Because you can think you're doing the right thing all day long. And if you're not actually, it ain't going to happen. You know, if I think I'm on the right road to get me to where I'm going, but I'm not, it doesn't matter what I think. I either will or I won't get there. So you might be doing like I heard a couple of weeks ago, are you doing the 5-in-1-ish plan, right? Got to think about that. So might be just good. Even if you think you're on track and you're doing great, just send a little text to your coach and say, checking in to be accountable to my journey, reminding us both of my goal, which is this thing. And I want to make sure I'm on track with that. And so your coach will love to hear from you. And so that'll be some nice things. So let's see here. Do we have any questions for us? Yep. So you guys have any questions for me? We've got about 9 luxurious minutes that we can talk about this. I also want to talk about the Elevate event that's coming up. So we've got Elevate Now. Have you guys heard of that? So Elevate Now is basically in January when everybody's making some big decisions to make a change. We reflect on our lives. We reflect on where things are going and where they were in the past year. And is 2018 going to be better than 2017? That's a big question for a lot of us. I know for me, I was talking to one of my clients who is a health coach, and it's her birthday today. And she said, I turned a year older, but I feel younger. And I thought, man, that just is such a great thing to say. And I know what that feels like, to take care of your body, and it feels younger while you're getting older. How cool is that? That's right, Don Carpenter. Yeah, super good. So the Elevate Now event, it's a community event. It's on January 13th. And so I was thinking about this. It's a community event. Well, community, common, unity. Well, what's the thing you have in common? You're not as healthy as you want to be, and you're working on it. And so you're going to get with a bunch of other people and work on those things and support each other. So I want to encourage you guys with that. But what if you were to connect with your health coach and say, hey, are you going to have an event? I want to come. I want to come be around people that want what I want, so that together we have a better chance of getting it. And what if your coach is not having one? What if you're not a coach yourself? Well, what if you were to create an event, right? What if you were to create your own Elevate Now event and host some people? You know, you talk to your coach and say, let's do something. Maybe you can support your coach in doing something. But I know when people get together over these kinds of things, lives change, right? And it's probably going to be yours that's going to change. So, yeah, there are events all over. So you can connect with your health coach and they will find out, let you know where one's at. So do you guys got a question for me? I don't know. Let's see. How often do I check in on the journey? There's Lori. During 5-in-1 transition and maintenance. So that's a great question, Lori. Lori Olivia. One of the things that we do and focus a lot on is the actual fat burning, getting to our healthy weight, right? We focus on getting there. And then once we get there, we stop connecting with our coach and we just sort of, I don't know, we just kind of get out of the structure and the discipline of healthy habits. And so what I've done, the clients that I work with that are the most successful, usually I stay connected with them for probably 3 to 6 months after they got to their goal weight, still on a weekly basis. You know, it varies. But after 3 to 6 months, we're working on different goals. They're not trying to get to a healthy weight because they got there. I have a lady that I've been working with for 4.5, almost 5 years. Her name's Phyllis. And you guys might have heard my Phyllis story. But we talk once a week now. And she's at either 118 or 119. She lost 137 pounds. And that was a long time ago. And so we're working on much different things now. We're not talking about weight and all those little details because she's got those, but she's got some more goals and dreams that she's working on. And so we're talking about what that looks like. And so I would recommend with your coach, since you have a health coach for life, why not take advantage of them? Have you ever thought about this? If you're a client on our program, have you ever thought about the fact that your coach is still going to be working on their health? Your coach is a client too. They're just like you. They're still working on their health. And so what if you staying connected to them helped them stay connected as well? I don't know, just some things to think about. I'm still working on my health. I don't have it all figured out, but I'm figuring more out as I work with other people. So there's a question for you there. There's an answer for you there. So I would stay connected once a month, probably, just to check in. And, you know, I don't know how, it's just such an incredible value. I would encourage you, actually, if you've been on the program for a while and you've been really working it well, why wouldn't you help somebody else learn what you know? Why wouldn't you partner up and find a few people? We have about 14,000 coaches in our company right now. I don't know the exact number, but it's somewhere 14, 15,000. And if you take 211 million Americans that are overweight or obese, that means each one of us coaches has to coach around 35,000 people. Well, I don't think we can do it. So the reality is we need more health coaches to be able to partner up with people and help them get healthy. And so you might think about the reality is there's a lot of people out there that have no idea about the hope that you have on this program, and you can connect with them and it'll establish a greater stickiness for your own health, and it'll help somebody else as well. So kind of an idea there. It's a pretty cool deal. All right, guys. So that is the going to conclude our topic tonight about trying to stay on the right lane and choosing what's going to get you to your goal. And by the way, I don't mean that your healthy weight is a goal. I mean, that is a destination. I want to get to a weight and I want to live there. But there's a lot of things I want to continue to build as I get there and beyond. And so think about that. Which lane are you on? Are you on the 5 and 1? Are you on the 4 and 2? Are you in the shoulder? Or have you got yourself down into the ditch? And there's benefits of each plan, and you get to determine which lane you're in. Just make sure you're connecting with your GPS, your coach, and make sure you're in the lane that suits you. And I want to encourage you, make a decision to get to that weight. There's so much more that you can be spending your energy on than just trying again to get there. Get there. And then spend that energy on enjoying being there and what's next. All right, you guys. Well, happy Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, all the different holidays that are happening. Thank you, Tracy. Appreciate the compliment and the encouragement here. Lean and Green and 18. There you go. All right, you guys. Hey, thanks. It's been great sharing with you. I love doing this. Well, we have coming up next the trilogy presentation, and I actually get the privilege to walk people through the trilogy presentation. So we will start that here in just a few minutes. And so if you haven't heard sort of the big picture of everything that we have to offer and how they work together for the benefit of everyone, you may want to hang around, and we're going to get started on that here shortly.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.